welcome to Demo Tuesday. My name is LaShonda Brathwaite, and I want to demo tonight for you how to make some banana bread. You know, it's starting to become fall, and this is the time of year where you've got like the pumpkin, the zucchini, you know, all those different types of fruits that you can take and make into amazing bread, even apple bread. And so I'm going to be using the brand from the fall line is the Pampered Chef Stone Loaf pan. It, like all the other Stone with Pampered Chef, has a nice glaze on it. It can, the more you cook it, the more seasoned it becomes, so it allows your food to cook more evenly because the stone, the heat just goes through the stone a lot more evenly. Its oven stays safe up to I think like 550 degrees now. It can go from the oven to the stove to the dishwasher, where some of the older Stones weren't dishwasher safe. These are. You know, we modern women, we need our dishwashers. And so all Stones come with these little scrapers. So when you scrape, you can actually take and scrape it down. With the Stone, you don't have to necessarily get it wet. You can really just scrape it down, clean it, and the more you cook it with it, the dirtier the inside gets. So this is a brand new Stone, so as you can see, it hasn't hardly been used. So I'm going to be making the banana bread. So I've already pre-peeled my bananas and I've placed them inside the classic batter bowl. Your bananas, you want them to be, you know, they're just almost ripe, but not too ripe that they're rotten. And this is the large classic batter bowl, and this is the small. This is one of the older small ones, but they work very similarly. The new one just has a slightly different shape. And what I did is I went ahead and pre-measured 2 cups of flour. The small classic batter bowl measures up to 4 cups. And in October, the small classic batter bowl will be free with any purchases to $80 or more. So you could get this for free in October. So I'm going to use my mix and chop. I think this is one of my most used tools in the kitchen. And so I'm just going to take my bananas and chop them up using my mix and chop. Now you can get really violent with this, or you can just kind of take your time, mosey around. It's really up to you, but it does a really good job just because of how it's shaped. You can mix and turn, and it does a great job of mashing up your bananas in preparation for your banana bread. And it will do the same thing also for your pumpkin bread. Zucchini is a little bit different because with the zucchini, I would recommend you use the grater or the vegetable shredder to make your zucchini nice and fine. So with the mix and chop, you can see we've done a really good job of chopping up our bananas. And so we're going to actually add, I believe now we need to add some flour. I got to go back and look at my recipe. Actually, yes, so we're going to add 2 cups of flour and 2 eggs. So I'm going to go ahead and crack my eggs in here because I want to make sure I have some moisture. And I have my Pampered Chef whisk, which is a 3-year warranty that comes with all of our whisks. Very nice, sturdy stainless steel. And just kind of mix my eggs with inside of my banana, and you can see it mixing very well. Yeah. Very nice. So my bananas are nice and smooth, and it's almost kind of liquefied. Then I add, so with my flour, I like to do half all-purpose and then half self-rising flour. By using the self-rising flour, I eliminate the need for my baking soda and salt, because the baking soda and salt together helps your cakes rise. So I choose to take a shortcut, and I have both flours, self-rising and all-purpose. If you use all self-rising, it tends to make your cakes a little salty or your bread salty, so you don't want to do that. So that's why I mix half and half. Just a little bit tip there. So mix that all together, still using my nice little whisk because it's very sturdy. You know how some of those whisks, they're so flimsy sometimes that as you're stirring, everything gets really messed up. Just mixing that in. And then I do have a half a cup stick of butter that I want to add in as well. Now what I could have done is I could have used my mix and chop when I was mixing up my bananas to mix up my butter, but I didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and use my mix and chop now and mix and chop my butter inside of my mixture. So I make sure that my butter, and so you can see that butter is nice and soft, and it's mixing in very, very nicely. But as a recommendation, I would probably mix and chop the butter along with the bananas in the very beginning. I just got a little bit excited with my recipe. So I'm gonna get my little skinny scraper because I want to get a lot of this mixture off of my mix and chop, because I want to keep as much of the batter for the bread as possible. But again, if you did the opposite direction and used the butter along with the bananas in the very beginning, you probably could skip this step right here. But I was so excited to join you guys tonight that I just skipped it right ahead. What can I say? So going back to my whisk, just make sure, actually I really don't need my whisk anymore. I'm actually going to take this and just knock it out. You're still using my skinny scraper. And then I'm going to switch tools and switch to my mix and chop. There's lots of different ways you can skin a cat, and my goal tonight is to show you a really quick recipe that you can use using the tools that we have available for you. Now, one of the things, because I was excited, I forgot to show you, these are all our mixing measuring cups. These things are adjustable, and they allow you to measure from a half of a teaspoon, a quarter of a teaspoon, up to a tablespoon. I can't think of the name right now. I've had a long day, everybody. So even with my long day, we're still gonna do this tonight. We're gonna make some banana bread, because how often do we as women and men, as parents, as hard workers, we have to work all day, come home, whip up a meal for our family. So I'm just gonna pour out a teaspoon of vanilla and pour it inside of my bread. This is actually a different type of vanilla. It's mixed essence. It's courtesy of my mother-in-law. She brought this back from Barbados from me. Barbados, really miss her. She passed away in February, so anyway, love her very much. And I'm actually gonna add a cup of sugar. What type of banana bread would I have without having a little bit of sugar in it? So I'm gonna use my whisk again. Actually, I don't think I wanna use my whisk at this point. I'm actually going to use my mix and chop. So I want to preserve as much of my mixture as possible. I'm going to switch tools, as I said I would. And I'm going to use my mix and scraper, and I'm going to stir in my sugar and make sure it's stirred in really well. Now, when you're making your own, I recommend that you put your sugar in. So the order that I recommend you actually put this in is to take your butter and your bananas, use your mix and chop them up, then add your sugar, add your vanilla, add your eggs, and then your flour would be one of the last things that you actually add to your mixture. And that makes it a little bit easier. But again, I was excited to come to you guys tonight and be able to make this for you. And now we're going to, that's it. It's done. Our bread's ready. And we just need to prepare our stone. So if you have the Pampered Chef spritzer, that makes it super easy to just take it and spritz it. But I don't have that yet, but I will be getting it. But I'm just gonna spray my stone just a little bit. Now, I wanna point out to you, this is the very first time that I've actually used my stone. So that's why I'm spraying it. Now, once my stone gets cooked in a few times, it gets a little colored and seasoned, I won't need to spray my stone anymore, and my food won't stick to it as bad. Now, if you're making something that's super gooey, then you know you've got to use a little bit of personal judgment there, and so that you can make sure nothing sticks to your stone. And so I'm just going to take and pour my banana bread mixture inside of my loaf pan, out of my amazing classic mixed classic bowl. I use my classic mix bowl for almost everything that I mix up now, unless I'm, making pound cakes, and then I'll pull out my KitchenAid. But I use this for most things. This classic batter bowl does come in the consulting kit, along with this mix scraper. Mixing almost everything that I'm using today, with the exception to this one. The smaller mini all measure does come in the kit. So, got my bread all in there, and it's ready to go in the oven. So I'm just going to bake this for about 60 minutes, and then I'm going to take a picture of the end result. Very easy. Pop it in the oven. By the time the rest of your dinner's done, you've got dessert. Thank you. This is LaShonda Brathwaite, and I hope you have a great Tuesday. Bye.